What's up, Comic Con Africa fans? Today we're doing something a little different. I'm a bit intimidated to have this interview. I'm a bit afraid that our guest might just click a few buttons and kick me in the head or do something different to me. So I am a little bit irritated. I'm not irritated. I'm a bit what can I say? I'm full of suspense. I'm full of angst. But today we have a really cool guest. I'm really excited to have you on board, Sylvia. But guys, today we have Sylvia, Queen Arrow Gathoni. There's so much more to tell you about her, but I just want to bring her up on screen. Sylvia, how are you today?
Fine, thank you, Steve. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm so happy to have you on board, and I'm so happy to be chatting to you because there's actually so much to speak about, and I think our fans are gonna get a bit more insight about you and what you're all about and stuff. But to start it off, guys, Sylvia is the African champion of Tekken 7, right? I mean, first of all, a woman in an industry which is mostly thought to be dominated by men has you number one as an African champ. This is such amazing news, especially as we celebrate Women's Month in South Africa. This month, August, is obviously Women's Month for South Africa, and also the fact that you're a law student. So for me, the two, how the heck did the two come together with a Tekken champ and a law student? Tell us a bit more about yourself, Sylvia.
The fact that I'm a law student and I'm also a pro gamer, I have a bit of a background in gaming thanks to the influence of my older brother and my cousin.
Yeah.
I used to follow them around. I know, playing the old school games. My very first game was the duck shooting games from the cartridge consoles. I think you remember those ones.
Yeah.
Then I saw them also transitioning into Mortal Kombat, into Street Fighter, into Tekken, and also the King of Fighters. So I got a bit of a background from all those games.
Yeah.
Then the law student part of it is my dad's influence. Is actually a lawyer, so
okay.
Yeah, so there's that reading background and that legal background I have as well. So I got my start into pro gaming in 2017. I started the Mortal Kombat 10 tournament at the East African Gaming Convention. I came in fourth place, which was a really good position because around 20 guys were participating in it. Then I decided to transition to Tekken. I did not like how Jason was really overpowered. I think, Jason Voorhees. Yes. So I was like, nope. That is not my struggle. Let me go into Tekken. Yeah, so from there, I just started learning the game from scratch. And trust me, that stuff is really frustrating. Fundamental Tekken, punishment, movement, block punishment, and character knowledge. But it's been a really fun journey so far. And I'm really excited to see how far I can go, especially given the chance to travel internationally.
Yes, that's awesome. Sylvia, where did it all begin, man? I'm sure the first game you played wasn't Mortal Kombat. The first game you played wasn't Tekken. And like you said, right, it takes you back to cartridge gaming, right? So if you can go that far, what is the earliest memory for yourself as a gamer?
My very earliest memory, as I mentioned earlier, was that cartridge game that had the duck shooting games. So you see, I just liked the idea of, just immersing myself into, a game and just, trying my skills at it, and especially competing with my elder brother and my cousin, since I spent a lot of time with them. Then I remember playing the Tomb Raider games. Lara Croft, a badass woman, very smart, very beautiful. That was just like that. I actually wanted to be an archaeologist at some point. And then, also watching the Tomb Raider movies that came out around that time with Angelina Jolie, that was like the pinnacle of the person I wanted to be. And that's why I'm really interested in history. I'm a history buff myself.
Yes.
Then from there, seeing Sonya in Mortal Kombat, then Christy Monteiro and Ling Xiaoyu in Tekken, that was it's really awesome. Then also Chei Lim in King of Fighters. We don't really see many badass women in games. So that was just really inspiring for me.
Yeah. I want to ask you, because you keep mentioning this, right? You keep mentioning that your earliest memories were with your brother, playing with your brother. Does your brother still claim to be better than you, or do you guys still compete behind the scenes?
Yes, we still compete, but I'm better than him. You know what used to happen during the holidays? Like, he used to also invite his best friends to come and play these video games. Then, you see, at the time he was in boarding school, so when he'd come home for the holidays,
Yeah.
he'd find that I've leveled up. So at some point, I actually just used to get kicked out of these sessions. I'm like, nope, you're not playing with you anymore.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you ever? I know. Obviously, in Africa specifically, as a continent in general, right? Esports, the esports careers are only booming now. It hasn't been booming for 10, 15 years, right? But did you ever think that should have a career in esports, or has it only been something of recent?
If I'm being honest, I never actually honestly thought that I'd have a career in sports.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that has been seen as the preserve of the West and the countries like Korea, like Japan. So for me, this was just a way for me to spend my time outside of my classes.
Yes.
Yeah. So the fact that I was actually given this privilege where it opened me to a whole new world of possibilities, especially now when people are starting to take an interest in professional gaming. That wasn't something that I could have honestly foreseen for myself. And having such a huge platform that I do have currently, like, this is just the stuff of dreams. Like, me, someone who's African, someone who's Black, this is just the stuff of dreams.
And a female, honest, for that matter as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I honestly want to see how far I can go, especially knowing the potential that I have, to become a better Tekken player, to become, one of the pioneers of the Kenyan/African esports industry. I know there's so much to be had for me here.
All I can say is it's about damn time. It's about damn time, right? So we touched a little bit on your law degree and your professional focus, right? What I want to know is, because you keep mentioning this, you keep mentioning the fact that you always refer to a badass woman or a badass character, right? So, Sylvia, is there a difference between Sylvia, the Tekken champ, right? Sylvia, the Tekken champ, Queen Arrow, the tournament winning, the brother beating woman, right? And Sylvia Gathoni, the lawyer. Are there differences and are there similarities in who you have to become in the two separate roles?
I wouldn't really say there's much of a difference, because if I'm being honest, I actually did my thesis on, microtransactions in video games and the legal aspect.
Yeah.
So I've actually found a way to, marry my law degree with my passion in video games. As I said, I want to be the one who's at least made a difference in this industry, merging my professional, my real life, I'd say 9-to-5 job, and what I do here as a Tekken player. I've seen that there's a serious issue where our laws haven't really caught up with the realities of technology.
Sure.
Part of how the African esports industry is going to advance is if we actually have a shift in our policies in terms of making it so much so that it's possible for us to regulate the industry on our own terms. Number two, to be, have policies that actually make it less expensive for people to get into the esports industry. Wow. I'm sure you're aware, like, the price of consoles, the price of PCs, and sometimes even smartphones, it makes it, the esports dream reality that's, it's not very within reach for many people, especially how expensive they are because of, punitive taxation policies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you see, if we had actually had more people who, had the, the legal know-how as well as, just the business know-how, I'm sure our industry can go so far.
Yeah. Wow, man. Sylvia, I think I'm loving how passionate you are about this, because it shows that you're not just a game player, but you're also trying to investigate and see the behind the scenes stuff that not many people investigate. I mean, a lot of people will just see Tekken for what it is and play the game. They like it, they don't like it. It's hard, it's easy, or I've finished it, or I've accomplished this. That's where people end. They stop there. So they don't really divulge much deeper than that. So I love that. But what I do want to ask you is, as an esports player, right, and as a student, speaking now to probably to some esports players and students as well, in South Africa, in Africa, and the people that are watching this, how do you strike the balance between study and gaming?
I'd say the best way to strike the balance between, study and between being an esports athlete, I'd say you have to prioritize what's important to you.
Wow.
That's what I did during my time in university. I realized, like, if this is the time to study, it's time to study. And if this is the time to play, this is the time to play. And especially if you're trying to avoid reinforcing this notion that gaming can be addictive, gaming is just a waste of time. Wow. I'd honestly advise students to take their studies seriously, because it's not going to be all of us who are going to, I'd say, fit into this industry.
Wow.
That's a very unfortunate reality right now.
Yeah.
But if you're also trying to sell our parents into supporting us into our careers, as well as the larger society, we need to show them that, we are taking our studies seriously, and, we are prioritizing what's important to us. Just have that degree as that backup plan, just in case of anything, just as that fallback plan.
That's awesome.
And that's what my mom used to really point out, just, I'm here to support you, but focus on school. And I sold her on that.
Yeah. That leads me into my next question. I was going to ask you about the support you received from your parents. Were they always supportive, or did it take some convincing to get them sold on your project?
To be honest, my parents are the old school, kind of folks. I think a lot of us can relate to that. I had a very difficult time selling them onto what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time I went to that tournament at the East African Gaming Convention, my mom was like, "What is this you're doing? How is this going to help you?"
Yeah.
And I remember I used to get into lots of fights over this, because my mom thought I was wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
Then, when I started, when I got my first contract, and I showed her the contract, then I also showed her the newspaper article that followed, because I didn't even honestly expect it to be a big deal.
Yes.
I just remember the newspaper was brought to the house, then I was like, okay, now I can see what's going on. Then, and I got my interview with the, BBC Africa. Then they're like,
yes.
What we're going, my mom was like, you have my support.
Yes. Awesome.
I think you're now serious about this, so you have my support. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
Just make sure you finish school.
Yeah. I don't think it's hard. I think you're a very convincing individual, number one. But I also think the proof is actually in the pudding, right? And if your parents can see, or if an individual can see how passionate or how serious you are about following this dream that you have, and still fitting in your studies at the same time, I think that is convincing in itself, right? My next question to you is it's a bit of a different one. Is because you, like we said, we pointed out the three challenges that you face, because they are a reality as a person of color. So you're young, you're black, you're female, and you're also based in Africa, right? How did the gaming community receive you as an esports player and content creator with those factors in mind?
If I'm being honest, the reception for the most part was positive. A lot of people didn't expect that I'd be a big deal as I am today, especially in the African esports industry. They were here to support me, like with my Tekken community. They helped me learn the game. They're still helping me to date. They taught me everything I know about the fundamental aspects of Tekken, and as I said, the most part, the reception was, positive, especially like when being seen on the, these big media outlets. But obviously with that success, there'll always be those clowns want to put you down because they are feeling some type of way. And yes, unfortunately, I've faced that kind of thing, especially due to, saying it's because of your gender, is that's why you're as far as you are right now. It's not because you've worked hard for what you have. And that's the unfortunate part of, having to deal with, being a woman, being Black, and being from an, I'd say, underrepresented region. There'll always be those trolls. But I feel also where we might go wrong is because we keep getting asked how we get abused. That's something a lot of women here in the space, we keep getting asked, how do you get abused in the space? And we should be asking, the dominant majority who are the men, why do you think it's okay to treat women like this? The women who come into this space. We should be asking them why. You shouldn't be asking us as the women how. That's what I've always felt.
Yeah. Wow, man. I love your response. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your honesty as well. What we want to know is what everybody always asks an esports player, right? How many hours do you train? And what are those practice routines? What are your secrets, Sylvia? That's what I'm trying to get to. Tell us your secrets.
Okay, so for me, my practice routine looks like it can be as much as 8 hours a day, depending on how busy I am. Because as I said, there's also the real life stuff that can come into my practice stuff. But for me, my day looks like I'm usually looking at some of my past videos to see some of the mistakes. And, now that means going into practice, practicing my movement, because my gameplay is really based on my movement, especially the characters I use, such as Xiaoyu, such as Laz. So they are movement-based kind of characters. So, it's about also outspacing my opponent. Then a big part of it is learning punishment. Like, now let's say if there's a move or certain flowchart that blew me up during a match, I go to the lab and see how am I supposed to counter this move? So I look into like the move properties, how many frames it is, and how many, on block, how unsafe is the opponent or how safe are they? Then I also go watching videos from other pro players from South Korea, such as me, and also, the Pakistani community, since they've also recently blown up in the Tekken scene, I also go looking at some of their vids, and also look from other, players from Europe who use my character. I see, what are they doing differently than me?
Yeah.
Then I also ask questions from my community members that I usually train with, like, okay, how would you approach this? What do you think I should have done better?
All right. What if there's one silly question? It really is a silly question. Is what are your what are your training like for me? Because this is an important question to me, right? Your snacks, Sylvia. What is your diet like when you are playing? When you're training, I want to know that because for me, I almost want to snack on pretty much everything. I'll go from a sweet thing to a savory to an energy drink to coffee to something cold. What is a professional esports player like yours? What are your dietary requirements? How do you live by in terms of your health?
For an esports player, I feel actually that, as I said, we are athletes at the end of the day, and that also means eating healthy, sleeping right, and also working out. So contrary to popular opinion, I actually eat a very healthy diet.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I don't eat junk food. There are times I'm just hungry because I'm spending a lot of mental energy. So I just find myself eating anything. That may be chocolate, that may be chugging down Red Bull, it may be water. It may just be just food in the house, like what I usually eat, rice, beans, whatever, anything. So I don't really have a particular, I'd say, preference. But during tournaments, I'm a sugar demon. As I said, mental energy.
Yeah.
So that's in Skittles, that's chocolate, that's Red Bull. Yeah.
Okay. So it's predominant. Like, is that specifically when you're actually playing, or is that like training as well? So you pretty much consist of like a high sugar intake. Am I correct?
As I said, it's because I use a lot of mental energy,
Yes.
and during tournaments you may not have time to actually order something quick. So I just take, it's just to keep my blood sugar up while I'm playing. Then once I have I'd say a lengthy break, that's when I get something proper to eat.
Awesome, man. Are you? What are your? So before I get to this question, has the pandemic helped or hindered your current run of practice, of performing, of tournaments? How has the pandemic affected you?
The pandemic, to be honest, it's really affected me because, in 2020, the Tekken World Tour had come back. So I was actually slated to, I'd say, participate in some of them, like those Cape Town Showdown, and then those Kyungo games, and then I was also looking at Evo. But, now with the pandemic, all those plans went to waste.
Yeah.
I felt that also if we're trying to grow the esports, and I think some of us are going to have to participate in some of these international tournaments to get more eyes here and get more, I'd say, investment opportunities. So I'm not taking it as a total loss because it's also given me time to, I'd say, practice some more to, get to the highest level that I can be, so that when the time comes back for these offline tournaments, I can say I'll be sure to, give it my all and, be a force to be reckoned with.
Awesome. Are there any upcoming tournaments that people can perhaps either watch or cheer or visit or view you on?
There's the Savannah Fight Night I usually participate in. You can find me promoting it on my social media. Then I'm hearing there'll be some offline tournaments coming back since I'd say the pandemic is kind of coming to a close. So I'll be sure to share more news on that. But for now, it's Savannah Fight Nights.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah. Sylvia, our fans love you. I can guarantee you that, right? We love following your journey. We love getting involved. We love to communicate, also support you as well. So where can people watching this that don't follow you as yet, where can people find you and support you?
Okay, on Twitter, I go by Malika Sihemi98, but just type Queen Arrow on the search bar, you'll find me. And on Instagram, on YouTube and Twitch, I go by the Queen Arrow 98.
Awesome. Great, guys. Well, Sylvia, I'm so grateful to have had this opportunity to chat to you, man. It's been so amazing. And I think I've learned so much myself. And I think you've definitely given us some secrets, which I love. So now we will definitely grow the industry. And hopefully you've impacted quite a few people and women in the industry, especially during this Women's Month that we celebrate in South Africa. So thank you so much for your time. I'm grateful, absolutely grateful that we had this opportunity, and I hope for more. There's definitely more to come from you, Sylvia, and I think people are definitely going to jump onto the trend and definitely support you. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll chat to you again soon.
Thank you so much as well. It's been an honor being on the show. I've been following Comic Con Africa for a while now, and I really hope that I can come down to SA one of the times.
That is what I wanted to hear you say, man. I wanted to hear you say that. We really hope to host you. Hopefully, in as soon as the pandemic is over, and as soon as we can go back to normal life, we can have you at our show as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Have a good day. Have a good time, and we'll chat. We'll catch you on your socials. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Okay. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.